Hi, everyone. I'm going to use a microphone because I'm losing my voice and Ian is gaining his voice back. So we're going to use a microphone so that we don't have to yell. But I just wanted to thank you guys for coming. We're going to try to keep this short and sweet because I know everybody's got very busy lives and appointments. But thank you for being here, and thank you, LCAT, for coming. A lot of you have seen in our volunteer newsletters that we are getting certified. I know you've had questions on what does that mean. So that's why we're having this meeting today, to let you know what that all means. Ian is with the Massachusetts Service Alliance, and he has been our coach through this whole process. We actually started last May. Yeah. And we did, I think it was like about 6 or 8 different 4-hour trainings every Friday about what this means. We were with a whole cohort, and ever since then we've been working on our certification. So we are hoping to be certified this June or July. And these amazing ladies over here have been part of the team. So if you want to stand up or just wave, we have Loren, we have Mary Ellen, and we have Kathy. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them around because they're involved in various other things, but they joined our team to be certified, and I'm so grateful for their help, and I'll go more into what they've done. But at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Ian.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be back in the Valley. I graduated from UMass Amherst a long time ago. I won't say when, way back. But I'm happy to be back in the Valley. Forgive my voice, I am recovering. I am past the point of contagion, so I'm good. But I am recovering. I wanted to introduce you all to the work that Alicia and her guiding coalition of volunteers have been doing in order to make Pleasant View Senior Center a nationally accredited nonprofit volunteer program. So, I am going to get into these slides. Some of the things that we'll go over in my slide deck is, what do I mean when I say service enterprise? How does an organization become a service enterprise? And then why are we even working towards this goal? So I come from the Massachusetts Service Alliance. Oh, hi, Ginger. I saw you on Wednesday. I come from the Massachusetts Service Alliance, which is a private nonprofit that was founded in 1991 and then became the official state commission on volunteerism in around, I want to say, 93. Every state should have a state commission on volunteerism. This is a bipartisan legislative goal that started with George H.W. Bush and then went on to Bill Clinton. And around the same time that we got legislation for our state service commissions, we also saw the start of AmeriCorps as a program and an agency of national service to America. I come here as someone who is funded through the Volunteer Generation Fund, which is a piece of legislation that came through the Ted Kennedy Serve America Act in 2009, another Go Massachusetts for national service. And MSA, we break our work up into 3 main buckets. We administer the AmeriCorps, so the folks that are doing national service, whether it be City Year or RSVP. We also have a state corps called Commonwealth Corps, which doesn't have the same federal restrictions and guidelines. It's a little bit looser and something that we're able to bring into smaller nonprofits who aren't ready for such a large AmeriCorps commitment. And then I represent a third bucket, which is our volunteer initiatives. And we do a few different things, including running a national accreditation program here in Massachusetts called the Service Enterprise Initiative. Me personally, this is a picture from AmeriCorps Week last year. I was an AmeriCorps member who served at UMass Amherst when I was in college. I was an AmeriCorps Vista as volunteer in service to America. It's one of the oldest AmeriCorps programs, started by LBJ in 1964, so even before the agency started. My work at UMass Amherst was concerned with helping the Citizen Scholars Program, now the Community Scholars Program, which is a 2-year grassroots program in leadership and service. And I also worked with the American Friends Service Committee on some pretty unique stuff. But at MSA, I run our Service Enterprise program. I also run a grant on youth career pathways, enabling young folks to get skills and explore different careers through service. So I do want to start with a brief video. This is just an introduction from Alive to the Service Enterprise program. Oh, let's see. Do we know if the video works?
I don't know.
I might need to do one of these.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know we were having a hard time with it last time.
Hold it for a second.
Technical difficulties. Help yourself to some coffee and some cookies over here if you would like them. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you for taking me up on that offer and not making me feel super awkward. While Ian is doing that, I just want to mention, I know we have volunteers who have been here 20 plus years, and we have some who literally started 2 days ago. So we have a wide range of volunteers at Pleasant View, and currently have, I think it's 135 volunteers signed up with us, which is amazing. But it looks like we got the video up, so
Yes.
here you go.
Absolutely.
Alive serves to enhance and sustain the spirit of volunteering by fostering collaboration, networking, promoting professional development, and providing advocacy for volunteers and community engagement. We are professionals with expertise in volunteer management and engagement, advocates for the recognition and appreciation of volunteer management, trusted advisors for educational tools, research, and insight, educators of decision makers in all volunteer management arenas, influencers for defining job descriptions, compensation, and the position of volunteer managers in our organizations. We are diverse, inclusive, and member-driven.
So you're sitting at your desk, and you're reviewing your list of tasks for the day. With each hour that passes, you mark one task off, and yet 2 more appear. You talk with your team, you talk with your boss, and everyone is having the same problem. As you look at your to-do list, you worry that you're not spending your time efficiently. Some of your responsibilities are foreign to you, and you feel like you're building a bicycle and riding it at the same time. Next month, you have to complete your department's annual budget. You carve out an hour every day to focus on it, but you're distracted by other projects, and math is not your strong suit. You think of your neighbor Sandra, an accountant, and wish she would suddenly appear to take on the responsibility. Now, consider she could appear. Imagine that Sandra, or someone like Sandra, had a role built into your organization to use her specific skill set to serve your organization. With her help, you would focus on what you're good at. You would feel like the work your team is doing is making a tangible contribution to your organization's mission, the same mission that attracted you to join the organization. By engaging Sandra and other skill-based volunteers, your organization could operate as a service enterprise. A service enterprise is an organization that fundamentally leverages volunteers and their skills to achieve its social mission. This means engaging volunteers in every area of your work, from direct service to operations to administration. Research conducted by TCC Group and Deloitte demonstrates that nonprofits operating as service enterprises outperform peer organizations on all measures of organizational capacity, thereby allowing these organizations to more effectively address community needs and operate at almost half the median budget. When an organization leverages volunteers and achieves an effective volunteer management model, not only do they lead and manage their organizations better, but they are also significantly more adaptable, sustainable, and better resourced to do their work, and therefore able to sustainably go to scale.
Based on research findings updated in 2022 from TCC Group, Deloitte, Algorithm, and the RGK Center for Philanthropy and Community Engagement at the University of Texas, Austin, there are 3 service enterprise domains and 12 characteristics. Establishing the foundation domain is all about creating and sustaining the appropriate groundwork and necessary organizational underpinnings to assure the successful engagement of volunteers and other community resources. It includes characteristics of funding and resource allocation, technology, leadership involvement, and planning. The best practices in volunteer engagement domain includes practices which ensure the effective engagement of volunteers and community partners. This includes the characteristics of supervision and support, training, onboarding, and recruitment and cultivation. Our last domain is impact and outcomes. It looks at the degree to which your organization utilizes the tools at your disposal to create and sustain relationships, tell your story, listen to your stakeholders, and measure success against your mission and organizational objectives. This includes the characteristics: collaboration, communication, growth and change, tracking, and evaluation. If you want to learn more and how you can offer this program to your community or help your organization become a service enterprise, go to volunteeralive.org/service enterprise.
So now that we got the video going, I'll get back into the PowerPoint. And of course, I have to remember my technology to make that happen.
Oh, I was going to say there's a little shortcut. There you go.
Nice. So, a service enterprise is an organization that fundamentally leverages volunteers and their skills to achieve its social mission. And here's a picture of the Marian Institute, which is in southeastern Massachusetts. They were just accredited in January of this year. As mentioned in the video, there was a lot of research that went into what is a service enterprise. The TCC Group and Reimagining Service worked together back in 2009 around the same time as this Ted Kennedy Serve America Act and the VGF fund. They went through and started doing research on nonprofits and found that the top 20% of performing nonprofits they would call a service enterprise. There was about a bell curve, and on the lower end were around 17% of nonprofits that didn't feel like they were doing really well with their volunteer programs. Then there was a big bulk, around 60% in the middle, that were getting by, but 18% were at the top of their game, and they were ready for expanding service. And so, after that research, the State Commission in California began developing the program, and then Points of Light, which is a nonprofit organization started by George H.W. Bush, took over the program and the curriculum and developed it even further. Moving all the way forward to 2014, they continued their research. They redid some of the studies in order to figure out if their model was serving folks in the best way possible. And then they expanded upon it. And in 2022, they transitioned the program over to the organization ALIVE, the Association for Leaders in Volunteer Engagement, where it is today. And there are states across the country, including Massachusetts, who are running this curriculum for nonprofits like yourself. We know that there are so many benefits to community service. These are just a few studies that focused on some of those benefits, highlighting things that I think are so important, like mental health and just general health. They found that in a few studies between 2019 and 2023, that folks who engage in service are much less likely to deal with rates of depression. They have decreased alcohol and drug use, and a reduction in high-risk behaviors. Another thing that I find so fascinating about volunteerism, especially in today's day and age, is the democracy, justice, and community engagement aspect of service. So these studies between, again, 2007 and 2023 found that folks who engage in service are much more likely to also engage in voting. And that means not just the presidential, but also all the way down the ballot. And as you can see, there are so many other benefits, some of these geared towards youth, like academic outcomes and workforce readiness, but then some things that we all value, like a sense of belonging in our community. So as you saw in the video, we focus on a wheel of characteristics that make up a service enterprise, ranging from things that as volunteers you would engage in, like orientation and onboarding, all the way to supervision and support, and then communicating your impact within the organization. In order to become a service enterprise, Alicia and her guiding coalition of folks have been working really hard, and you can see from this timeline of activities, they have spent time first going through a diagnostic. We start this process with a 45-page report about your organization and covering all those different aspects of training, onboarding, the different characteristics that make up a well-churning nonprofit. From the diagnostic, we went into training, over 20 hours of training. And then now, currently, folks are engaged in coaching. So they schedule time with me, and I have been consulting with them on some of the different activities and processes that they're building within Pleasant View. This will round out in a national accreditation that will have Pleasant View recognized on the national stage for your volunteerism. Here are just some of the things that we commit to as MSA partnering with Pleasant View. So as I mentioned, that 45-page diagnostic report, the 20 hours of team-based change management training, the individualized coaching that they're engaging in, and then resulting in that national accreditation. The technical assistance is valued at $10,000 to $15,000, but here in Massachusetts, thanks to that volunteer generation fund, we only had to charge $450. So it is a tremendous value that we here in Massachusetts are able to provide versus some of the other states where those rates are not as friendly. Now, I just wanted to show our impact in Massachusetts. This is a map of all of the different folks who have gone through Service Enterprise. This represents nonprofits that range from senior centers to food banks to animal shelters to everything that you could possibly imagine. Over 100 organizations have participated in the program, and over 90 of them have been accredited. We have had cohorts across Massachusetts, and this is over a decade in the making. We are continuing this program as far forward as we can. This is just another representation of some of the benefits that come from this program, including that $63,000 value of increased labor hours. That's calculated through volunteer hours, and an 80% report of an increase in skilled volunteers. So folks that have specific skills that they are engaging in their roles. So with this part of the presentation, I just wanted to field any questions, any thoughts that people might have before we jump into the next part with Alicia.
Any questions?
I don't mind doing a little dance up here until people figure it out. Yes.
Does the organization that you work with assist these service enterprises with finding funding?
Do we assist folks with finding funding? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah, there's a whole core concept within the service enterprise training around funding and resource allocation, and that also includes preparing for grant funding and soliciting funds from different folks. One of the cornerstones of the service enterprise program is making sure that nonprofits are able to take some of the volunteer data that they receive and then turn that into positive data that they can promote to funders. So, for instance, we have what's called the return on volunteer investment, which the independent sector values volunteer time, including what you would pay an hourly wage, but also in benefits. And here in Massachusetts, they do it nationally, but they also do it by state. In Massachusetts, we have a very high rate. So the value of a volunteer hour is $42. And we calculate your volunteer hours, the time that folks spend here at Pleasant View, and then we times that by 42, we bring it all together, and there you have your return on volunteer investment. So that is a large number that then we are able to share with funders and say, hey, our volunteers are producing so much value, even beyond the impact within the organization, the time that they're spending is also of value as well. But thank you. Another question? Well, great. Awesome. I'll hand it back over to Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you, Ian. All right, so we're just going to switch over to the other presentation. All right, so I just wanted to explain to you a little bit about what this kind of just tangibly looks like for Pleasant View. So what it means that we're going from our volunteer program to a service enterprise. So part of our training was to create a vision for our volunteer program, and I think on your tables there should be like one for everybody to share. It's of our volunteer handbook, and in that is our volunteer vision board if you want to look at it. But we came up with the vision statement and then we made a vision board. And the statement is to foster a vibrant, compassionate community where volunteers and seniors connect through meaningful service, enriching the lives and well-being of one another with purpose, respect, and connection. And then we use this board to kind of just create things that stood out to us when we thought of volunteers. Food is on there, obviously, because everybody loves food. But also just how us as a staff really love our volunteers here. You can see in this board that everybody looks really happy because I always hear very positive feedback from our volunteers. So this was kind of just to bring our vision statement to life. And then we wanted to go over so far what we've accomplished so far with becoming a service enterprise. So last April, many of you who were at our volunteer appreciation might remember that we had our first volunteer annual survey where we collected some feedback from you. That was very helpful on my end, and we're going to continue to do that annually. But that's just a way for me and us as a staff to know what our volunteers are thinking. Are you happy? Are you confused about anything? Do you feel like the communication is proper? So that is very helpful for us. We also formed our guiding coalition. So as Ian said, we had to do the diagnostic, which was really interesting to go through. We had to answer a ton of questions just about what we're offering right now or maybe what we're not offering. Everything from actual program volunteer opportunities to, do we have a handbook? Do we have, a way of communicating online? Like all these different aspects that maybe, just to allow us to see are we missing anything. We finalized the Pleasant View Senior Center vision for our volunteer program, which I just went over. We also completed the volunteer handbook, and I really need to give this team over here credit for that. Loren and Kathy and Mary Ellen had a huge part in creating this handbook, so I'd love to just take a minute and give them an applause because it was a lot of work. So thank you to them. It was a lot of emails back and forth, and Ian helped us a ton with it, so thank you. And now, as Ian said, we're in our training series right now. So once a month, our team meets on Zoom with Ian, and he is helping us just go through everything. He has looked at our volunteer application. He's given us feedback on what changes might be necessary for that. There is also like a whole handbook that we are having to fill out to show his team what we're doing to really make sure we're communicating well with you. And I mean, you would probably explain it better than I will, but it's literally just this huge document that we have to fill in that will show his team, are we ready to be accredited or not? Are we meeting the standards for what MSA, the Massachusetts Service Alliance, has for this accreditation? All right, and what are we doing now and beyond? So we are on track to receive our national accreditation this June or July, so we are very excited about that. We are having this volunteer meeting. This is also all part of it. We want to get this word out to you. I've been putting it in our volunteer newsletter and trying to just start getting the news out. We've been talking to our COA board about it. We've been talking to our Friends board about it. You are the first volunteers to really be hearing kind of the meat of what this program is. So thank you so much for being here. We're revamping the volunteer application like I just talked about. We're really going to start focusing on feedback and volunteer leadership. I'm very excited about this one. A great example of this, and not to call you out, Geraldine, but back in February, we had a sock hop, and I, poor planning, was not able to be here that day. So I called Geraldine and said, hey, how do you feel about leading this whole event? And she graciously said yes. And it was a really cool opportunity for me to see, especially as we're doing this whole process, to have her come on board. And we had a meeting with her and a bunch of other volunteers who are ready for this event. And we just went over everything. Geraldine and I talked separately, like, what do you need from me? I went over all the details. And I heard amazing feedback about that whole event. So it was really cool on my part to kind of see, okay, this is where this whole certification is bringing us. This is the power of volunteering and the power of giving over projects to you, because you all have amazing skill sets and talents. So, and I think the more we focus on that, the more we'll be able to do here, because even though we're kind of a large staff for a senior center, we're still a small staff and we can only do so much. So the more that volunteers are willing to kind of take on in leadership roles, the more we'll be able to do, which is exciting. And so I just gave you an example of a volunteer leader. Another one is our volunteer Mary, Bill's wife, who could not be here today, but she leads our chair volleyball program and has made it amazing. And this is why I love volunteer leadership. I used to run that program and it was fun, it was all right. But then Mary came on and she brings in these, what does she call them? Like the guests that come? Celebrities, thank you. She calls them celebrity chair volleyball players. And I mean, our town manager has been here, the fire chief has been here, the police chief has been here, the people who run the banks in town have been here. Like, she is everywhere getting these special guests to come, and I just honestly would not have done that because it's extra work that I don't have time for. So that's why I love volunteer leadership, because usually that volunteer just gets really excited about it, they get passionate about it, and they create it into this whole program that I would not have been able to do. So very excited about the ways that we can have volunteers just be in more leadership roles. So this is just to show you kind of some of the roles that we currently have. There's more than this, but just to give you an idea, we have volunteers who do Meals on Wheels, we have volunteers who help in the kitchen, who help in the office, program leaders, help with special events like the sock hop. We have a pen pal program that a lot of people don't know about, but Mary Ellen runs that for me, so thank you, Mary Ellen. Meal service, our coffee bar, tech help. The list could go on. There's so many volunteers here. Like I said, we have 135. And some of the possibilities with us becoming a service enterprise are, like I kind of just touched on, helping with more event planning. Bridge Oversight, this is actually our AI program. Bridge is the texting feature that allows you all to text our senior center number, And there is so much more we can do with that, but as a staff, we physically right now don't have the capabilities to do that because of time. So looking for volunteers who maybe are tech savvy, who could do this from home. And I, of course, can explain what that more is if you're interested in hearing more about it. Another opportunity is to be a liaison for different community partnerships. There are so many amazing organizations in this area, or even just groups that get together and share resources, but I cannot make it to every meeting. And so we're looking for volunteers who might be willing to go to a monthly meeting and then come back and share with me what they learned and what's happening in the community. And then how can your skills be used to further Pleasant View's mission? That's just really kind of where we're going with this whole certification, is you all come from amazing backgrounds and have skills and talents, and we just want to be able to use them more. And so after this, we're about to wrap up shortly, because again, we just want to be mindful of your time. But if you are able to stay and you want to kind of sit down at tables with us and talk about different volunteer opportunities that maybe we're not thinking of, that you're like, hey, why don't we do this? Or I have a skill in this and could you use it? Those are the conversations we want to start having more. All right, so this is for the little fun part. I just want to show you a quick little video of why some of our volunteers are here.
Hi, my name is Karen, and I started volunteering about a year ago. I decided to volunteer for the senior center as I was a primary care provider for many years, and I wanted an opportunity to still work with people and help them. So I mostly volunteer for the Meals on Wheels program. I've also been asked to serve on the board, and I've enjoyed both of those things tremendously. It gives me a lot of satisfaction to know that I'm helping people, and I've also met a great group of people that work here, both the volunteers and the staff.
I started volunteering right after I retired from my job. And I'm pretty sure it's been almost 20 years now that I've been doing Meals on Wheels off and on, except for when we had to stop for COVID. Came back after that and been doing it ever since.
Why do you enjoy doing it?
I like giving back to the town, to the people that, the older people in town that can't get out to get meals and stuff like that. Yeah, so it helps them, helps me, keeps me.
I enjoy volunteering because the people here are so great, and it's nice to be helpful anytime you can to help other people.
Hi, I'm Chet. I'm a volunteer. I love it here for a lot of reasons. Mostly, it's probably the most welcoming place that I've ever gone to. So I enjoy it, and I will continue to volunteer. Thank you for the opportunity to say so.
Hi, I'm Barbara Farrell. I'm a member of the Council on Aging Board, and I really have enjoyed this Pleasant View since my children came here for first, second, and third grade. And I accompanied my 90-year-old father here for bingo, which he wouldn't play with me. And I just enjoy being here and all the friendly faces.
When I was working, I am now retired. When I was working, I was in the helping professions. I was a nurse, so I was looking for a volunteer gig that would allow me to help people. So I volunteer for Meals on Wheels, and I really enjoy it.
You know, it's better than being alone. I love the companionship. I love that I can stay busy, keep me going. You know, when you're here, laughs and smiles are the best medicine, and you get that all the time here. And doing something makes you feel like you're needed, and I need that very much.
I love all the people, all the excitement. Alicia's great. I love giving back to the community. That's why I do it. It helps me feel like I'm doing something.
The reason I like to volunteer in the senior center, it's the staff, first thing. I enjoy the kitchen. I enjoy the people that they're in the senior center, especially the elderly. I have a conversation with them, and it makes my whole day.
You know, when I retired, I wanted to give back, but the biggest reward is when people smile. And they really sincerely mean everything that they say. And you're wonderful. The staff here is terrific, but it just makes me feel good. It starts my day in a positive way. That's why I love Mondays in the kitchen.
Because I come here every day because of the people. And I think I've been here about 20-something years, and it's like a second family for me. And he did curbside, which I enjoyed immensely. And you meet everybody, you know, it's like you meet your husbands, your kids, and I enjoy it. I get a lot out of it. I mean, it's not because I want somebody to say, oh, isn't she a good person? She volunteered. It's not that. It's what I get from them is what I like. So,
well, my interest really is that I am a caregiver, and I have been a caregiver. I'm a retired nurse, and I like helping people and doing things for them, and that's why I enjoy volunteering here.
I love volunteering for two reasons. One, the staff and the people at the center are wonderful, make me feel good for volunteering, give positive reinforcement. And the second reason is I really want to help the seniors in East Long Meadow, and I'm hoping I'm doing that. Okay?
I really enjoy coming here. I really love the cookies. They are absolutely fantastic. The coffee's good. Excuse me. And frankly, the staff is second to none. All of the staff. And I like the programs we do. We do cheer volleyball. I do Meals on Wheels. Oh, I hear this. Matter of fact, you know they have a Jewish Santa Claus here every year? Ho, 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 ho. And again, the cookies. Thank you.
I enjoy volunteering because at this age we need to be active and get out and contribute to our community. And I've had the opportunity to meet all these wonderful, wonderful people. Thank you.
I was looking for something to do to help people, and I'm so happy that I'm doing it here. I love the place. I love staff. I love people here, and I'm grateful that I could be helpful, you know, in some small way.
Well, the money's real good, and the people are very friendly. They're really welcoming to you, and it's great to get out of the house, and I would do it again.
Hi, I love working here. It's a great start to my week. It gets me up early, it gets me out. I've met wonderful people, and I enjoy the people that I work with.
I like meeting new people, and I'm in the Pen Pal program, and I have some sweet, sweet kids that are, you know, participate in it, and I really, really enjoy reading their letters, and I like it.
I love working with seniors, and I love particularly working with the seniors in my community, making sure they're fed, making sure they're having a good time, making sure they're safe. I've been delivering Meals on Wheels for 10 years now, so it makes me really happy that I can help my community in that way.
I enjoy volunteering here because of the friendly staff, Alicia and Aaron and the staff here. They make it very welcoming, and I enjoy working with my elderly peeps. So it's just a great place to come and visit and to talk to other people. So I really enjoy it here. Thank you, Alicia.
I enjoy volunteering here because, first of all, this is a great place to volunteer in. And secondly, I find when you extend your hand to help, you get so much in return. So I find that I get so much when I come in here and I volunteer for people. I have a good heart, and I like to show that by volunteering. So I thank you for allowing me to volunteer here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seniors helping seniors.
Everybody that was on there is a senior.
Yeah, most of our volunteers are, which is amazing. So what, did anything stick out to any of you in that video? A lot of things were repeated. What are some of the things that stood out? Feeling useful. Mm-hmm. Friendliness.
The welcoming place here.
Welcoming place.
Giving back.
Giving back. Interaction. Connection. The cookies, the best part. We still have some over here. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I talk to you guys, and just time and time again, it's you guys telling me how amazing you feel just from helping people. And volunteers are so special. You're giving of your time. You do not have to be giving of your time, and we appreciate that so much. So thank you for doing that for us. And now my slide says thank you. So that's the end of my slides. So yeah, so any questions about anything that we said? Oh, and I almost forgot, Loren, do you mind coming up here really quick? Loren, as I mentioned earlier, has been one of our volunteers helping on our Guiding Coalition, and I just asked her to share with you, first of all, just how her experience has been working on this with us, and then how her experience has been being a volunteer at the center, because she is involved in some other things.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I will tell you, I've been here now, this month is actually a year. And within a couple of weeks, Alicia asked me, could you participate based on your background in this Service Enterprise Initiative? And I will tell you, my first inclination was, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I have the right skill set. I don't really know what it meant. And so I was a little nervous, but I jumped in. And what I found was, wow, I could add some value. I did have something that I could contribute to and make a difference. And vice versa, I learned through that whole data analysis how much that this organization does for others and how much, how meaningful it could be. And then on top of that, I got to meet these great people, develop these great relationships. It's the connections, right? And so doing it a year, and I got confidence out of it. I felt like I contributed, and I got to have relationships. And so, I mean, what better way to have that than to be involved in something like that? So that was my experience through the last year. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So before we wrap up, are there any questions at all for me or Ian, or I might need you to come up and help me answer some of these, because I'm still learning this whole thing too.
In the volunteer newsletters you send around,
Yes.
you always have statistics. I assume those help with funding and so on. But I assume it's also very important for everybody to fob in for whatever we do.
So glad you brought that up, Bill. Thank you. So Bill, so that everybody knows what he asked about the statistics that we gather from our volunteer program. And I actually did bring some, so I'm glad you brought this up, because I forgot to bring this up. So yes, we do ask everybody to track your hours. And I know, again, a lot of you will come to me and say, well, I don't really care about the hours because I'm just doing this to help out. I'm like, no, you're helping me when you track your hours. So please do that, because we do have to give an annual report to the state every year. And they will never see your name or any of your personal information. They literally just see how many volunteers we have, how often they've been here. We track the total hours. So to give you an example, this is for 2025. The total people who signed in, so again, this isn't necessarily everybody who has signed up as a volunteer, this is everybody who swiped that they were here and volunteered, was 83 volunteers. And so total, those 83 people volunteered 3,471 different times and volunteered over 8,900 hours. And we do have to update the pay in our database, but right now what it is, that means the pay equivalent of what everybody did last year was $294,389. So yeah, so you guys are doing a lot. And I know it doesn't always seem that way. I mean, we have volunteers, one of the places I hear this a lot is in our office. We'll have volunteers come up to us and say, I feel like I'm not doing anything, and help me help you more. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, You are doing so much because in that position, for example, you're the first face people see, you're answering the phone calls, so you're the first person people are talking to. Like, your impact is so huge, and so many people who come in here who are not volunteers, I can't tell you how much our staff here is. This place is so welcoming. Everybody here makes me feel at home. Everybody takes care of me if I can't get up to get lunch. So it's huge. And then just to give you another idea, so far this year, we've had 75 volunteers sign in who have helped 683 times, over 1,700 hours so far, and it's only March. So that's amazing. So thank you. So yes, please sign into your hours if you have any questions about that, because sometimes I forget to tell people to do that when they're starting on. Come and see me. It's very easy. And so yes, thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions? About anything you heard Ian talk about, anything on my end. And it's okay if there's none. Okay. So thank you for coming. If you want to hang around, we are happy. We're going to be here for a little bit. We're happy to kind of just dig deeper with some people. Like I said, we want to kind of hear from you, like what are areas of interest that you have for volunteering? What are some of your skill sets that maybe we don't know yet? And my plan is we're going to have another volunteer survey that's going to be available at our volunteer luncheon in April. And in that, I'm going to include different skill sets so that I can start to pick up what you can do. So I'm excited. So anything you want to add?
Honestly, just congratulations to Alicia, too.
Thank you.
For arranging this event, and running the program. One thing I'll say is, in working with so many different organizations, it is rare seeing someone who is so ingrained within their own volunteer program as well. The fact that she has a team of volunteers working with her on this accreditation is extremely unique, not just in Massachusetts and the 10 plus years that we've been doing the program, but nationally. It's not something that you hear about that often. So I sing Alicia's praises all the time in my work, and she is a constant example that I bring up to other organizations. So congratulations to Alicia, but also congratulations to all of you, because you have Alicia too. Oh. So
thank you.
So thank you for everything that you're doing in your community, but also thank you, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you, Ian. I don't know everything you do, but I know you do a lot too. So thank you. Thanks for bringing us where we are. So again, just thank you so much for coming, and just know that this just means really for you guys that we're just really going to start utilizing your skill sets and creating more opportunities. And again, I told so many of you this, I want to keep an open dialogue with you. So if you ever have any ideas of something that we're not offering, but hey, you have an interest or a skill in it, photography, for example, and you want to start a photography class, come talk to me. We've had programs start because volunteers like yourselves have said, hey, I have this skill and I want to use it to teach people or want to do it with people. So, and I do want to thank Emily, our director. She is very supportive of all the work we're doing, and I know she really cares about you guys and wants to make sure that our volunteers are happy just like I do. So thank you, Emily, and have a great rest of your day. Oh, one more thing, sorry. We do have volunteer applications available if anybody is interested. I know a couple of you I have just met today or haven't met yet, but Mary Ellen, if you can raise your hand again, please. She has volunteer applications for you, so if you're interested, go ahead and pick those up. And if somebody isn't here, thank you if you're watching us on the TV, you can pick up an application here at the Senior Center, and then if you go on our website, you can find my email or our phone number. I'm happy to email it out as well. So thank you, Jamie, and thank you again. Have a great day.